this as we get set for the Cowboys and the Lions.
The NFL is a quarterback-driven league, but games are won and lost along the line of scrimmage. Goose, you got any matchups you're going to keep an eye on?
I'll tell you what, Darryl, absolutely. The defensive line for the Lions, like you said, is a line to be reckoned with. And they're going to go against Mark Colombo and Leonard Davis there on the right-hand side. I think that's the weakness of the Dallas offensive line. I think they're going to have a hard time, and I'm going to see what Kyle Vanden Bosch and Ndamukong Suh can do with Mark Colombo and Leonard Davis. We'll see what happens.
All right, Tony, we will keep an eye on that matchup throughout the afternoon. The Lions have won the toss. Lions have not won on the road since October of 2007. Stephon Logan back deep as David Beeler gets things started in Dallas. There's Logan out across the 20. Across the 30, looks to cut it back inside. Terrific return of 40 yards, and he's forced out of bounds by the place kicker, David Beeler, as Sean Hill leads the Lions offense out, making his 7th start this season for the injured Matthew Stafford.
We learned something about Sean Hill yesterday in our meetings. This is a tough guy right here.
Extremely tough.
You hear about a fractured forearm and you think, well, maybe it's not a big deal. He's got 6 screws in a plate in that left forearm that he's wearing that protective covering on. And he has earned the respect of every teammate of his on the Lions.
Good starting field position from the 37-yard line as Hill fires downfield on first down. Just out of the reach of Calvin Johnson. Terrence Newman on the coverage.
And I think that this is one of the things that Detroit is going to do. They are going to test this Dallas secondary with their receivers down the field. Calvin Johnson is a matchup nightmare to anybody. And you look at the size advantage that he is going to have against anybody in that Dallas secondary. That's something they feel good about. Javid Best got off to a great start. He's battling a little bit of turf toe. That running game has struggled. And there's the offensive line for the Detroit Lions. Not a great game last week against Buffalo.
Empty backfield for the Lions on second down. Hill's pass is caught and taken out to the 43-yard line by the tight end Brandon Pettigrew for a gain of 6. Keith Brooking made the tackle.
Well, Tony talked about the front for the Detroit Lions. Dallas has got a pretty good front as well. They play the 3-4 defense. Here's where their strength is: the edge rushers, Anthony Spencer and DeMarcus Ware. And the biggest issue during the course of this game is going to be the health of that secondary. Mike Jenkins with a strained neck. Terrence Newman banged up last week. How long can Paul Pasqualone's crew hang in there? Or can Detroit exploit some depth issues in that secondary?
Hill on 3rd down and 4, swings it out to Maurice Morris. He has a first down into Cowboys territory. Shoved out of bounds at the 42-yard line. Morris gains 11.
I think that's what we're going to see a lot of today, Darryl. A lot of short passes to the outside, screens, getting it to guys like Morris, and having them running that secondary. You know, talking to the guys, you know, Dallas really doesn't, on the outside and in their secondary, tackle real well, so I think they're going to challenge them in that aspect.
Morris remains in the backfield. 2 tight ends from the Cowboys 42 on first down. This is Morris. Head coach Jim Schwartz told us it would be running back by committee for the Lions today. They placed Kevin Smith on injured reserve yesterday, and that is the first carry for Maurice Morris since week 3.
And one of the reasons they're going to have to do that is Javid Best. He's got turf toe on each one of his feet. And he had a breakout game against Philadelphia early in the year, but since that time he got hurt the following week in Minnesota, has not been able to get that burst back or that change of direction. There's Kevin Turner on the sideline with him, so they've decided to go running back by committee. You'll see Jerome Felton, the fullback, in there. You'll have Maurice Morris, Javid Best. They'll all get a chance today.
Hill in trouble, just able to get rid of it after the pressure from DeMarcus Ware.
You know, Darryl, Sean Hill, one thing that he does really well is gets rid of the ball when he's in trouble. Watch him here. The ball gets snapped. He has nobody downfield. He knows that he's going to have an opportunity to get sacked right there. Gets rid of the ball. That's why this team doesn't give up a lot of sacks. DeMarcus Ware, you don't want to be going and standing around with that guy there.
No, Jeff Backus went down to cut him. It was a 3-step drop. The ball was supposed to come out quick, but everybody's covered. You've got to get DeMarcus Ware down if you're going to chop him. He's too athletic.
You're right, Goose. Lions have allowed only 15 sacks in 9 games. 3rd down and 10. Lions must get to the 32. Hill in trouble. Down he goes. Jay Ratliff with his second sack of the season, along with Stephen Bowen, loss of 7.
Hey, Goose, that was with only 3 guys rushing. Little changeup by Paul Pasqualoni on defense. He drops 8 into coverage. Watch, you're just going to have Stephen Bowen, 72, Jay Ratliff, 90 on the nose, into Marcus Ware, number 94. Anthony Spencer drops out right into the middle of the field. Look at that coverage right there. He had that whole middle bottled up.
Nobody's back deep for the Cowboys. Now finally Des Bryant backpedals.
Ball, ball!
And the punt will be down at the 1-yard line by John Wendling, who's had a terrific season on special teams. Back in Dallas, first offensive series for the former Lion, John Kitna, starting his 4th game this season for the injured Tony Romo.
Had a great game last week in New York. A lot of big plays down the field for this Dallas offense.
2 backs, Marion Barber and Felix Jones. Movement prior to the snap.
Come on, Goose.
Yeah, Corey
Not
Williams.
at the 1-yard line.
You can't do that. You got a team.
Encroachment, number 99 offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
You got a team on the 1-yard line. You're right over the ball. Look at the ball, because you know they're going to try something to go and get themselves out of that area to give them a little room to work. On the 1-yard line, you always have that safety issue that, you know, you want to go and punch it out. Now they got a little bit more room, and they get a lot more plays that they can call at the 6-yard line.
Well, pre-snap penalty is a big problem for the Lions last week against the Bills, and they started off with their first possession here on defense.
Second most penalized team in the league this season. 1st and 5 following the penalty from the 7-yard line. And Marion Barber is wrapped up by Julian Peterson with help from Turk McBride. Loss of 2.
Marion Barber gets to start. Roy Williams, Miles Austin. John Kitna talks about the weapons he has on this offense. Been chomping at the bit for an opportunity to start and play with these guys. I thought one of the big improvements last week was the play of the offensive line of Dallas against a very good front of the New York Giants. You heard Tony talk about it today. We'll have to see how they match up against Detroit's front.
Barber in the backfield on 2nd and 7. Kitna with time, complete to Roy Williams. And Williams forced out of bounds at the 10-yard line.
You better cover that ball up. Roy Williams lost it there at the end of that play. It wasn't out of bounds.
Here's that front that Tony talked about, and Ndamukong Suh just having a great rookie year. Kyle Vanden Bosch, really the heart and soul of this defense. Good linebacker core. DeAndre Levy back on the field healthy. They've had some trouble with their linebacker there in the middle. And there's that secondary. Going to be a tough job for them today. A lot of weapons on this Dallas Cowboy offense that they're going to have to take care of.
3 wide receivers set for the Cowboys. 3rd down and 2. Williams split to the left. Kitna looking for the tight end, Jason Witten, who picks up a 1st down. Out across the 20 to the 21-yard line, gain of 11.
Jason Witten's the guy that you want to know where he is on the field all the time, huh, Darryl?
You ain't kidding. And it's just little plays like this. Nice little flat play. Good decision by John Kitna. Take what the defense is giving you. Everybody jumped that slant coming back inside. They left that flat area wide open for Jason Witten to get into.
Witten leads all tight ends in receptions this season with 47. From the 21-yard line. On 1st down, Kitna's pass is caught by Des Bryant. He broke away from Chris Houston and picks up another Cowboys 1st down, a gain of 12.
I want you to watch how Des Bryant works back to the ball. Everybody that watches him play says the best thing that he does is he attacks the ball when it's in the air. And that doesn't mean just a deep throw down the field where he goes up for it. Watch him work back to the ball and prevent the defender from getting there. And then he's a big physical guy after the catch. Chris Houston's got to get down there, get around his waist. You can't go up high against Des Bryant.
From the 33-yard line, Marion Barber. It's 2 out to the 35. DeAndre Levy made the tackle.
It'll be important for the Dallas Cowboys to have some type of run game today. They've got to continue to run into this front. at times this year, especially the first half of the year, they got out of whack with their play calling system, very, very heavy in the pass. If they can maintain that balance, let that big offensive line, the big Leonard Davis, come off the ball.
Felix Jones checks back in for Barber. 2nd and 8 from the 35. Cowboys started this drive back at their own 2-yard line. Hitting across timeout.
First charge time.
5.5 gone by. First quarter in Dallas. On the left, Matthew Stafford, who grew up in nearby Highland Park, Texas, and his Cowboys counterpart, Tony Romo. 2nd down and 8. Screen to Felix Jones. And Jones tackled at the 45-yard line. Nice tackle made by Kyle Vanden Bosch, but Jones gains 20.
That's a great job, Darryl, by Kyle Vanden Bosch, coming from the line of scrimmage all the way to the outside after he reached the screen and making the tackle.
Yeah, because you're talking about Felix Jones. He's pretty explosive. That's great hustle. And that's when you talk about a player being kind of the heart and soul of an offense or a defense, is so everybody else can kind of emulate how he plays the game. And that's what Kyle Vanden Bosch has done for this Detroit Lion defense. You know, you hear the term high motor guy, never takes a play off. Well, you know, Kyle kind of takes that to the next level.
Big addition after spending the last 5 years in Tennessee. And Jones this time is tackled by Peterson. There's a flag at the 45-yard line.
Offside, defense, 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Yeah, Corey Williams, you know, just before the snap jumps a little bit. I think it was Corey.
Yeah, Tony, when we talked to Coach Schwartz last night, we were talking to him about, is it a question of learning how to win games, becoming a winner, whatever it was. He said he's seen progress with his teams, and he's not having to talk about the same mistakes week after week. Well, guess what? He is this week. I mean, you cannot have pre-snap penalties like that 2 weeks in a row. It was a huge issue last week against Buffalo, and it started again right away here.
Second one of this drive off the fake end around. Hitting his pass is caught at the 34-yard line by Witten. A 16-yard pass play.
Jason Witten is one of those guys that kind of can break any coverage. You're going to go man-to-man with him. That's Amari Spivey, the safety. Look at the separation that Jason Witten creates. It's a matchup problem. And John Kitna even said, I've got to be careful from time to time because I won't go through my progression because I know that Jason Witten is going to be able to beat any type of coverage that the defense throws at him.
Kitna perfect, 5 for 5 during this opening drive. Make it 6 for 6 as the catch is made by Roy Williams. And we head to a game break with Kurt Menefee. Kurt.
The Baltimore Ravens at Carolina. Opening drive of the game, Joe Flacco, 56 yards to T.J. Houshmandzadeh, and just like that, the Ravens already on top of the Panthers, who are down to their third quarterback. It's 7-0, but it's still early. Kenny Moose and Goose.
All right, thanks, Kurt. Cowboys are in the red zone. They started this drive back at their own 2. Kitna has spread the ball around to 4 different receivers. He's 6 for 6. The toss to Felix Jones. Breaks the tackle. Hard to bring him down, and he is finally tackled at the 10-yard line after gaining 9.
We talked about it with Des Bryant. You can't tackle him up around the shoulders. Well, you can't do that to Felix Jones either. Watch. Here it comes. Up near, up high. Not even putting your head across. I tell you, this season, fundamentally, some of the worst tackling I've ever seen. Amari Spivey, not only does he go high, but he puts his head on the backside of the runner. So he's going to be able to shrug him off very easily. If you're going to go high, put your head across in front of the numbers. Make the running back at least run through your body.
Jones on 2nd and 1 picks up a first down and takes it all the way down to the 2-yard line before he's tackled by Spivey. Jones gaining 8.
I don't get to do this very often, Tony, but that's a heck of a block by Chris Gronkowski, the fullback. There he is, number 44. Louis Delmas is down in the hole as the safety, and he digs him out, drives him out of the way. Good block by your fullback leading the way.
Yeah, that whole offensive line also is doing a great job. The defense of Detroit is not getting off their blocks. There's no separation. With the size they have on defense, and the size really that they have on offense. You need to go and separate to go and make tackles.
Two tight ends, first and goal from the 2. Marion Barber gains 1 and then is brought down by Lawrence Jackson.
Just the fundamentals that you see, what Jason and Garrett has instilled in this team in a short period of time. Kenny talked about it at the top. We're less than 2 weeks into this right now, and the difference that he has made is remarkable. We watched them at practice on Friday. It was, in my opinion, the best Friday practice I've seen across the NFL this year when we have done games. It was very reminiscent of me, the tempo that we practiced at back under Jimmy Johnson. It was excellent to watch and very, very different from what I've seen early in the year.
3 tight ends, Kitna looking end zone on second and goal. He throws, and a diving attempt there was made by the fullback, Gronkowski.
And I don't know if that was going to Chris Gronkowski the whole way or maybe Scott Chandler. There's Jason Witten. He's going the other way. But you've got some pressure. John Kitna is working the right side of the field as Jason goes to the left.
Cowboys now with a 3 wide receiver set. Williams split to the left. Bryant to the right. Austin in the slot.
Wanted to go a jump ball out to Des Bryant. One-on-one.
3rd and goal. There it is. Bryant. Touchdown.
I tell you what, he is something special in those situations.
I think everybody in the stadium now saw what you saw. One-on-one with Des Bryant on the outside. That's a mismatch.
I just don't know why you don't give him a little bit of help. Chris Houston does a pretty good job. He doesn't get his head around, but even if he does, you saw the height advantage. You saw the placement of the ball by John Kitna. The only one who's going to make that catch is Des Bryant.
Bryant's 6th touchdown in the last 6 games. Keeler, the extra point. Cowboys drive 98 yards, their longest drive of the season. Cowboys lead the Lions 7-0. For Dallas, their longest drive this season, both plays and yards. John Kitna, 7 for 8.
I was impressed with John Kitna on the move a little bit. Not really scrambling, but stepping up into those throwing lanes, in the pocket, making some things happen.
Will is kicked off into the end zone, so the Lions will start from their own 20 when we return to Dallas. Jim Schwartz has never won a road game as head coach of the Lions. In fact, playing on the road this decade has not been kind to the Bay Area teams or the Arizona Cardinals. But how about the Lions? Since 2001, only 8 road victories. This is Nate Burleson, and Burleson takes it out to the 35-yard line for a gain of 15.
Well, you know things are going bad when the record you just broke last week for consecutive road losses was your own.
Yes.
At 24. Now you've extended it to 25. So just a tough go for the Lions on the road. And that's one of those steps of the progression that as a team that's trying to change the direction and experience some success has to achieve, and it's winning on the road. And as Jim Schwartz talks about the process, that's one they've struggled with.
Now the fake end around to Logan. The pass is caught by Javid Best, his first touch today, but it did not fool Orlando Scandrick as he tackles Best for a loss of 2.
Javid Best had a shot on that one on the screen to the outside. If he would have just ran towards the inside a little bit, watch it right here. The inside is wide open. The offensive linemen are on it, but he decides to cut to the outside for the unblocked man. It's a bad decision right there.
You can see, Tony, he doesn't have that burst that he had earlier in the season. We saw him in Minnesota before he hurt that toe, and it was impressive to watch, especially getting ready for that game, watching what he did against Philadelphia.
Yeah, people hear about turf toe and think it's not a big deal. Trust me, it is a big deal.
Hill to Pettigrew out to the 41. Time for a game break. Here's Kurt.
No burst missing in this guy. Mark Mariani, 7th-round draft pick out of Montana, now returning kicks for the Tennessee Titans. Had a kick return for a score early this year. Now this 87-yard punt return for a touchdown that puts the Titans on top of the Redskins, 7-0 in the first quarter. Kenny Moose and Goose.
Thanks, Kurt. Titans looking for their 13th consecutive win against an NFC club. 3rd down and 4. Lions must get to the 45 for a first down, and they do as Best crosses midfield and is forced out of bounds at the Cowboys 46 after a gain of 13. You guys were talking about the start for the rookie Best this season. Tremendous over the first 2 weeks. He was named the NFC Offensive Player of the Month for September.
Yeah, but when you're talking about turf toe and on each foot as a running back, that is really, really going to hurt you. And you can just see he doesn't have that burst, the ability to change direction like he was earlier in the year.
Hill complete to Calvin Johnson on first down. Terrence Newman makes the tackle after a gain of 6.
On that last play prior to that one, there was a poor tackle. Mike Jenkins has the opportunity to tackle Javid Best out in the flat, doesn't get it. And one of the things they did great against the Giants last week was tackle. And we've seen a couple of missed ones here early by both defenses.
Lions picking up the tempo, Goose.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, they're speeding it up. They're up on the line of scrimmage. They're trying to get a little bit of a 2-minute, 4-minute feel. And it seems like it's working a little bit. But, Gal, you're absolutely right with the tackling on the outside.
2nd down and 4. Inside handoff to Best, and he's brought down by Jason Hatcher and Igor Olshansky, gain of just 2.
Well, Scott Linehan, the offensive coordinator for the Lions, is doing a good job right now. He's throwing a lot of different things at the Dallas defense. I had a chance to talk to Paul Pasqualoni before the game, who's the coordinator for the Dallas defense, and he said, I've got to find out what Scott's going to do today. He's got a lot of different game plans that he puts in. You look at Buffalo last week, they really wanted to come out and try and assert themselves in the running game. But if you watch Green Bay and you watch the Jets, there's different styles. He said it was going to take 2 to 3 series to figure it out, but this is much different than they did on the opening series.
Hill on 3rd and 2, complete for a first down to Calvin Johnson at the Cowboys 33-yard line.
Just trying to keep everything in front of you. Calvin Johnson, a good feel. Don't run yourself into coverage. You see Orlando Scandrick, number 32, sitting there. Just kind of gear your route down, get into that soft spot.
Yeah, Mike Jenkins giving him a big cushion there on the outside, too, Darryl.
Johnson coming off a 10-reception game against Buffalo in the loss last week. From the Dallas 33, Hill wrapped up. There's a flag. Down he goes. Anthony Spencer with the sack, but we'll check with referee Carl Jeffords.
Holding, number 51, offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
To be able to have good pressure off the edge, it helps to have a good nose tackle. Dominic Raiola going up against Jay Ratliff right in your screen right there. Gets beat quick. He's doing everything he can to try and keep his quarterback upright, but it's very, very difficult to single Jay Ratliff. That's asking a lot from your center. It'd be great to give him some guard help, and when you do that, now DeMarcus Ware and Anthony Spencer on the outside can have more success coming off the edge.
We talked about good tackling, and Dominic Raiola right there. That was a great tackle. Stayed low, wrapped it up. That's what we're looking at of the guys in that secondary.
Now first down and 20 following the penalty from the Cowboys 43. Hill in trouble, gets rid of it, and the catch is made by Morris, who lost the football, but he was ruled down. Maurice Morris gaining 10, so it will be 2nd and 10.
Good hustle by Brady James right there. I might want to challenge that. Looks like he was losing possession of the ball coming out, but
although Derek Williams
yeah, it doesn't matter anyway. Yeah.
Looked like the official was looking up at that board that they have here in the middle of the stadium to go and check and see if it was a fumble or not.
Here's Morris Goose, final play of the first quarter with the Lions on the move, but the Cowboys drove 98 yards on their only possession and lead after one, 7-0. Fox NFL Sunday will return after these messages. Back in Dallas as we get set for the second quarter. Cowboys leading the Lions 7-0. Third down and 6 for Detroit from the Dallas 29. Hill from the shotgun. Looking for Calvin Johnson downfield. No flags. Mike Jenkins on the coverage.
Yeah, I think that's the big problem when you try and bring pressure against the Detroit Lions, Tony. You're going to leave yourself one-on-one with Calvin Johnson.
Yeah, Calvin's just looking towards the inside. And Sean Hill threw it to the outside. Well, you don't want that. That's a mismatch right there, Dow.
So here is Dave Rayner filling in for the second consecutive week for the injured Jason Hanson from the left hash. A 47-yard attempt by Rayner, who was 2 for 3 last week against Buffalo. And his kick is good. So the Lions are on the board here in Dallas.
Javid Best getting drafted this year, hoping to improve that running game for the Detroit Lions, and he did the first couple weeks of the season, but you can see they've got that toe bent down. Now they're tying it down. Now turf toe. As Tony pointed out, some people will say turf toe in a way, well, I can't have that much. What it really is, it's a hyperextended big toe, and it is one of the most painful things. And when you talk about a skill position player that has to cut and change direction, it's going to be something that really hampers Javid Best the rest of the year.
And he has a double case of turf toe. Here's Brian McCann, who returned an interception, 101 yards for a touchdown last week. And he is tackled by the place kicker, Dave Rayner, after a 38-yard return. The Cowboys drove 98 yards on their first drive. This time they must go only 60, thanks to a season-long kickoff return by Brian McCann. Start from the 40, off the play fake. Kentna looking for Jason Witten downfield. Morris Bavay on the coverage.
I'll go back and take a look at the kickoff. Here's Dave Rayner right here. Now, I was on kickoff return, and your objective is to get the return guy one-on-one with the kicker. Great job of cross blocks down there at the point of attack. Here comes Brian McCann. Look at all that space. Oh, he stumbles and he gets tackled by the kicker. No.
You can't do that. They'll replay that 15 times on Monday, and all his boys on special teams will be like, you got tackled by the kicker.
In space.
In space. He's got to pull some kind of move. I know you're a cornerback, but some kind of like spin move or something.
Maybe that's why he's a cornerback.
Yeah. As Bryant makes the catch, then he was forced back by Chris Houston. So the objective is to get the return man one-on-one with the kicker and then hope that the kicker doesn't tackle him.
Yeah, I mean, you can't have that. Everybody, the other 10 guys have done their job. There was some great blocking, great design by Joe DeCamillis, a special teams coach for Dallas. I love when they do the long crossing blocks to hit it with perfect timing, kind of split that seam, and here comes Brian McCann right up the middle. You do everything right, and he has that little stumble that probably cost him a long touchdown.
So, Goose, even though he returned the 38 yards, all he'll hear about in the film room is the tackle.
Absolutely.
4th down and 15 for John Kentna and the Cowboys. Setting up the screen to Jones. And he's cut down at the 37-yard line by Louis Delmas. Gain of just 2. So after driving 98 yards on their first possession, Cowboys go 3 and out.
Exactly. Good response by the Detroit defense. And Kyle Van Den Bosch talked about last week Detroit being out of sync. When one element of the team would have a good series, they couldn't follow it up. If the offense came out and had a good drive and got points, right there you get the big kickoff return out to the 40-yard line. It seems like the same thing, but his defense came out and made a great stop.
Matt McBriar punting to Stephon Logan. Angled towards the sideline. And Logan steps out of bounds. Terrific punt.
That'll hurt your average.
58-yard kick. Back in Dallas, where the Cowboys lead the Lions 7-3. Cowboys will be right back in action here on Fox this Thursday on Thanksgiving Day, hosting the New Orleans Saints. Lions start from their own 6-yard line, and taking it up to the 9 is Jerome Felton, the fullback.
I always thought we had a huge advantage on Thanksgiving Day not having to travel. So the Saints catch a little bit of a break, just a short trip up here.
What are you doing for Thanksgiving, Darryl?
I'm gonna be sitting at home having some turkey watching the Cowboys and the Saints.
There you go.
Look at Emmitt Smith, your partner in the backfield for so many years, who will be receiving his Hall of Fame ring at halftime today as Felton takes it out to the 14-yard line. Gain of 5.
Awesome job last night. Actually, being in town, had an opportunity. They had a little event last evening. The Jones family, as part of the presentation for Emmitt's Hall of Fame ring. So I actually got a chance to visit with him last night, and he's gonna stop by with us later here this afternoon. Chat a little bit about the Dallas Cowboys moving forward and his Hall of Fame experience.
The NFL's all-time leading rusher. 3rd down and 2. Hill looks left. Now he throws. And the catch is made at the 20-yard line for a first down by Brandon Pettigrew. Gain of 6.
That's tight coverage by Keith Brooking. 51 drops out, protects his inside, gets out of the break pretty good, but Shaun Hill puts that ball in a great spot.
It's still amazing watching Shaun Hill with that plate and 6 screws on his left arm, that big black wrap that you see.
Here's Maurice Morris out to the 23-yard line.
There's a shot of it right there. And he's out there with a plate and 6 screws in his arm. Big time fracture, and he's out there playing. You know, we talked about it earlier in the game. A lot of respect for this guy. And there's Matthew Stafford from this area.
Shaun Hill was not drafted, not invited to the combine, did not throw a pass. His first 5 seasons in the NFL, he's persevered. Making his 23rd career start today. 2nd down and 7. This is Stephon Logan taking the handoff, coming out of the backfield. And Logan brings it out to the 27-yard line, gain of 4.
But Jim Schwartz wasn't kidding when he said he was going to go running back by committee. I didn't expect to see Stephon Logan in the backfield carrying the ball. But you can see, I mean, we showed you the picture of Javid Best getting retaped. You know, I'm not sure how productive he can be the rest of the afternoon. And Jim told us that, you know, it's going to be a situation where we may be tipping our hand by who we have in the backfield and what we're going to be able to do. And you wonder if Stephon Logan might be able to pick up the plays that Javid Best would be responsible for.
Logan, the 5th different Lion to carry the ball today. Hill to the outside for a first down to Nate Burleson. Tiptoes up the sideline, and he stepped out at the 43-yard line. Gain of 17 and a Lions first down.
A blown coverage right there by the Dallas secondary. Nobody takes the flat. We've got Terrence Newman, Orlando Scandrick. They both run deep, leave that flat area wide open.
That's what you have and what you get when you get Calvin Johnson out there. Everybody's worried about him, and all of a sudden the other receivers are going to get opportunities, just like we just saw.
Here's Maurice Morris. Ducks ahead to the 44-yard line. Gain of 1. Anthony Spencer made the tackle. There's Paul Pasqualoni, named the new defensive coordinator after Jason Garrett was elevated to interim head coach.
Well, the important part for Paul is he's coached several positions in Dallas. He's worked with the linebackers. He's worked with the tight ends, so he has a lot of respect from people across that team.
2nd and 10, taking it into Cowboys territory is Calvin Johnson, gain of 9, his 3rd catch of this first half.
Calvin Johnson does a great job of catching the ball, but right after he catches it, he dives forward for another couple yards. See right there how he stays nice and low, protects the ball, and gets those extra couple yards.
Lions now facing a 3rd down and 1. Logan and Felton in the backfield. And this is the fullback, Felton. It will depend on the spot. Looks to be just short.
I don't think he got it. And you just saw the play selection there. It looks, we talked about the game plan, and Detroit being a multiple offense can do a lot of different things.
Good penetration in there also by Dallas.
Yeah, and right
pushing
now,
that line.
Goose, it seems like they'd like to be more of a pass team. You know, they slam it up in there with Jerome Felton, but they don't have enough. They're going to have to punt here.
Yeah, you're exactly right. The Lions are doing a lot better job of working the edges rather than running up the middle of the field there.
Nick Harris punting for the second time. And a fair catch was signaled for, then McCann lets it bounce through the end zone. A look at Blue Field Explosions by Gary Simmons, located in the Northeast Monument Staircase, commissioned specifically for Cowboy Stadium. Throughout the stadium, visitors are treated to many displays of contemporary art.
And that's one of my favorite ones. And my wife Diana and I came out when they did the showing for all the different pieces of art here. And even if you're not a football fan, this is a great facility to come to because there's a ton of things to see.
The home of Super Bowl 45. This will be played on Fox February 6th for pre-snap movement.
Encroachment, number 75, defense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
You know, Darryl, you talked about it earlier about not doing the same thing wrong time after time. This is the third offsides by this Lions defense.
It's unacceptable.
Yeah.
It's 1st and 5. Yeah, you can see Jim Schwartz right there.
Beating themselves.
Exactly. And they just add up. You know, you can't give an offense that's as explosive as Dallas opportunities at 1st and 5. You can be real aggressive right now with your play call.
Only the Raiders have committed more penalties than the Lions this season. Jones fights his way back to the line of scrimmage. Time for another game break with Kurt.
And an update on the Terry Bradshaw Howie Long Bowl. Pittsburgh right now in front. Rashard Mendenhall. 5-yard touchdown run, and the Steelers have the lead early on in the second quarter. Kenny Moose and Goose.
That may be the hardest I've ever seen anybody hit in the end zone. He got hit hard when he broke the plane.
You ever hit anybody that hard in the end zone, Goose?
Yeah, a few times. I was just so mad that they got to the end zone.
Goose just behind the end zone in his normal spot with us here today as once again on 2nd and 5. Jones is forced back by Sammy Hill.
You got to hand it to this Lions defense. They have the offsides on the first play to get the 1st and 5, but then 2 great defensive plays to push it back now to 3rd and 8.
Loss of 3 on this one. Third and 8 from the 22-yard line. Play clock ran all the way down. Cowboys did not get the snap off in time.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
A little lack of composure right here by the Dallas Cowboy offense, getting to a 1st and 5 situation, and now they're going to be forced to convert it 3rd and 12.
So the Cowboys went backwards on 2 plays and now lose 5 yards on the delay of game penalty. Empty backfield. Cowboys must get to the 30 for a first down. Kenda on 3rd and 13, complete to Witten, but DeAndre Levy was right there to wrap up Witten and make the tackle, so the Cowboys will send out the punting unit.
I didn't understand that. You know, Jason Witten not even close to the first down marker, and I know it's a completion, Darryl, but you would figure Jason's route would take him more, you know, a little bit deeper, closer to that first down marker.
Yeah, very conservative play call in that situation, but not a great series to start with after getting to 1st and 5. So sometimes, Tony, it's not a bad idea just to punt and get out of that series.
Cowboys second straight 3 and out. Good hang time from McBriar, taken at the 28 by Logan. And Logan is forced out at the 34 after a 6-yard return by Sam Hurd. John Kenda says it's on me. Fox tonight, Brian writes a controversial bestseller, but when sudden fame goes to his head, his big shot behavior could land him in the doghouse on live TV with Bill Maher. Family Guy, viewer discretion advised. An all-new episode at 9, 8 Central tonight on Fox. Well, following the second consecutive Cowboys 3-and-out series, Lions start from their own 34. Hill off the play fake. It's Morris out of the backfield, and he's tackled by Victor Butler. You know, when we spoke with Jason Garrett on Friday, we asked him the biggest difference in his first game as head coach. He said not being able to spend as much time with the offense after they come off the field.
Yeah, he's got quicker conversations on the side. You can see right there getting some information from Jason Witt, maybe talking about why that route was cut short. Wade Wilson, the quarterback's coach, who was up in the booth prior to the change, now down on the sideline, handling more of those responsibilities, getting the offense on the same page.
2nd and 6, the toss for Morris, and he takes it out to the 43-yard line. Jason, of course, now must pay attention to the Cowboys defense when they are out on the field.
Defense, special teams, a lot more responsibility. And there's Wade right there with Stephen McGee going over some stuff. And then look at those pictures. That's where the bulk of the work is going to get done. So when you get the promotion to go to head coach, you've got to delegate some of your other responsibilities. Wade Wilson, one of the people on the staff that gets a lot more responsibility now with Jason being the head coach.
Both former NFL quarterbacks. 3rd down and 1. Hill complete for a first down to Calvin Johnson. Down to the 47-yard line. Gain of 4, and the Lions move the chains.
Well, they didn't go back to what they did on that previous drive. They got into a 3rd and short and tried to slam it up in there with Jerome Felton. This time spread him out a little bit and work Calvin Johnson.
A lot of singled up on Calvin Johnson. A lot more than we expected, huh, Darryl?
A lot more than I expected, Tony.
Wow.
I agree.
He has 4 catches today for 23 yards. Now Hill going deep. And a big hit is laid on the tight end, Brandon Pettigrew. He went up to try and make the catch.
Brandon Pettigrew, big target at the tight end spot. It's on his back shoulder. Gerald Sensabaugh does a good job, comes up, clean hit.
Keith Brooking, also with his hand right in there.
Yep.
Punching that pocket. That's a linebacker, Darryl.
You know what? He's been in coverage a couple times on Brandon Pettigrew and has done a nice job. Had some help over the top from Gerald Sensabaugh on that one, but Keith Brooking doing a nice job with coverage, whether it's underneath or down the field.
Pettigrew from Tyler, Texas, one of 10 Texas-born players on this Lions roster. 2nd and 10. Hill throwing left to Burleson, and he's tackled by DeMarcus Ware, who became a father for the 2nd time last night. We send our best wishes to DeMarcus and his wife Taniqua on the birth of DeMarcus Jr., born last night, 5 pounds 1 ounce. We are told mom and son are both doing well, expected to come home from the hospital tomorrow.
Congratulations.
That's awesome.
Let the sleepless nights begin.
For the next 18 years.
Oh, yeah.
Marcus Jr. will join Sister Marley. 3rd down and 7. Hill gets rid of it just in the nick of time, and the catch is made for a first down at the 41-yard line by the tight end, Tony Scheffler. We saw Pettigrew earlier, the intended target. Now Scheffler. Lions tight ends have the most receptions in the entire league.
And that's just a great feel. You said in the nick of time, and I'm so amazed. You don't know, do they have that sense? Can they feel that pressure coming, and now they got to kind of get it out of there as quick as they can? Sean Hill, a nice job hanging in there and getting it out right at the last second.
You know, he's not able to use that other arm, that left hand, and usually when you're a quarterback, you definitely want to go and use that other arm to sort of give you some more rotation. It's almost like you're forcing that elbow back, and he's not able to do that with that plate and screws in his left arm, but good arm strength and throwing it downfield.
And Tony, as we saw, Scheffler shaken up. He made that last catch, was tackled by Keith Brooking.
Looks like he took a helmet right in the rib cage. And this will be interesting because what Detroit does is they use Tony Scheffler kind of in a 3 wide out type package. And as that second tight end with Brandon Pettigrew, you can put him out there with Nate Burleson and Calvin Johnson, and that's a pretty formidable matchup across the board when you're talking about 4 wide receivers. They put Bryant Johnson down today. He's inactive. Derek Williams taking over at that 3rd wide receiver spot. So if Tony Scheffler is not able to go, that's going to impact what Detroit would want to do offensively. One of the things they wanted to find out is how are you going to match up against Tony Scheffler.
There's Bryant Johnson.
Well, we got a big goose on the right, and we got probably the smartest bird in the Metroplex right there, finding his way into this stadium, hanging out.
He's got one of those, field suites, hanging out over here, getting a little something to eat on the field. He's not off the field. He's on the field.
Well, the roof is closed. No way out. Talking about the bird goose, not you.
Yeah.
Here's Hill on 1st down. Burleson. And Nate Burleson has a 1st down and more. There is a flag as Burleson is finally tackled at the 10-yard line. 2 flags back at the 40. Burleson gains 31.
Actually, right when Nate broke this
Illegal
open.
block in the back. Number 66, offense, 10-yard penalty. Repeat 1st down.
Jim Schwartz can only shake his head. That's on the right guard, the former Cowboy Stephen Peterman. So penalties have really hurt the Detroit Lions, and we hit the 2-minute warning in Dallas. Back in Dallas, penalty committed by Stephen Peterman, the Lions right guard, erasing a 31-yard completion from Hill to Burleson. So with 2 minutes remaining in the 1st half, and the Cowboys leading 7-3. 1st down and 20 for the Lions from midfield, and this play is blown dead.
It's amazing that you can
Ball
struggle
start,
with penalties.
Number 13, offense, 5-yard penalty.
The way Detroit did last week and come back and do it again. Here's Peterman right here. Here's Brooking. Just from alignment, he's got you out leveraged. Now, he may be your responsibility, but when you get out to the point of attack, you're out leveraged. Let your receiver try and make somebody miss. It's just, you got beat, See if you can get a 3-yard play or a 4-yard play, but don't commit a blatant foul right in front of the official at the point where the play is designed.
Detroit, a 30-second timeout.
And now the Lions forced to use a timeout. They had some trouble shuffling personnel onto the field. Coming up, the Visa halftime report with Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy. Brett Favre against the Packers. Are the Titans and Chiefs for real? And a happy birthday to Michael Strahan. Michael and Troy Aikman both celebrating birthdays today.
Happy birthday, guys.
Michael spending his birthday in the studio, and Troy is in Minnesota to watch Favre against the Packers. He'll be here on Thursday along with Joe Buck and Pam Oliver to call the Cowboys and the Saints on Thanksgiving Day. Hill complete, and Pettigrew takes it down to the 46-yard line for a gain of 9.
I know that that's a tough position to be in if you're a cornerback. And Orlando Scandrick, 5'10", 194, is kind of outsized at 6'5", 265 by Brandon Pettigrew. But I mean, you're down around the ankles trying to make a tackle. You're lucky that didn't go for a few more yards.
Pettigrew's 4th reception today. 2nd down and 16. Hill, after a pump fake, gets rid of it as it was being taken down. It's Pettigrew again at the 41-yard line for a gain of 5.
Sean Hill on the way down, still getting that ball off. Marcus Ware putting the pressure on him, though.
And Goose Hill has completed 18 of 22 in this game, 7 for 8 on this drive. Lions, as you see on our Fox box, with 2 timeouts remaining. Hill, a rare incompletion. He was looking for Maurice Morris.
Tough throw. Maurice Morris has got to give him a better angle to make this ball catchable. I mean, he's running away down the field. Brady James is in that trail spot. If he could kind of break that a little bit flatter to give Sean Hill a better angle to throw that ball in.
So the Lions once again enter Cowboys territory, but are hurt by penalties. End-over-end kick by Harris. McCann lets it go, and it will be down inside the 5-yard line by Vinny Churchu. So the Cowboys pin deep. And a reminder, this Thursday on Fox, it'll be the Cowboys and the Saints. Dallas hosting a Thanksgiving Day game for the 43rd time in the last 45 years. And Darryl, you played in 9 of them.
It's fun. I enjoyed it, and it's funny, you kind of trick yourself mentally being able to recover from Sunday to Thursday. Dallas gets a huge bonus today of playing at home on Sunday and then getting to play here again on Thursday.
The Lions will also be in action on Thursday, hosting their annual Thanksgiving Day game against the New England Patriots. So Detroit must travel home tonight and then get ready for a very short week. Jones loses the football. It's somewhere underneath that pile. Lions say they have it.
Yeah,
and they do.
Looks like the Lions got it.
Guess who, Goose? Kyle Vanden Bosch with the hit to knock the ball out. 8 yards downfield.
There it is.
That's a hustle play. That's that unlimited motor that we talk about with Kyle Vanden Bosch.
One of the things that Dallas did against the Giants last week was respond to adversity. There was a couple situations during that game where it looked like things had the potential to go against them, and somebody stepped up and made a play. And obviously the biggest one was the Brian McCann interception in the end zone that he took back 101 yards for a touchdown. I'll have to see if this defense can come up with something else.
Lions empty the backfield. They have 2 timeouts, 37 seconds remaining. And now the Cowboys forced to call timeout.
Dallas.
They had personnel shuffling off the field. Josh Brent was trying to get off, and Dallas uses a timeout signaled by Gerald Sensabaugh.
In Detroit, the opportunity here offensively, you know, again, we talked about the penalties that are a recurring theme from last week to this week, but also Jim Schwartz talked about getting on the fringe of the red zone, getting in the position to score points. They had the big penalty on the block in the back on Steven Peterman, but that drive, last possession, kind of self-destructed right as you got into the area for points. Dallas has given them the opportunity right here at the 15-yard line to make up for that. We'll see what they can do offensively here.
There's Jones who coughed it up, and the Lions can score some points. They've actually outscored their opponents this season, yet they are 2-7. Hill, the punt fake, now throws through the end zone. Calvin Johnson, the intended receiver.
But give him a chance. We've talked about the size matchup with Calvin Johnson. Give him a chance in that situation to go up and make the catch.
They actually had Keith Brooking on Calvin Johnson there in the beginning, and he had a little help over the top. See Keith Brooking right there, number 51, but I mean, there was a huge hole there. You can't go and leave Calvin Johnson uncovered in that 10-yard period right there going into the end zone.
Empty backfield, 3 wide receivers. Maurice Morris in the slot. 2nd and 10. Hill underneath. And it's taken down to the 8-yard line by Burleson. Detroit using their 2nd timeout.
So Calvin Johnson there all the way set to the right-hand side of Detroit. You know, Jenkins gave him a huge cushion. Jenkins was playing almost in the middle of the end zone. I'm really surprised they didn't go on that fade to the corner on that one, Darryl.
Oh, you know what, Tony? Even just, you know, that little quick pop to the outside, if Mike Jenkins is going to play that far off of him, you know, throw it, just get it up and get it to Calvin. He's a big guy. See if he can break a tackle. If not for a touchdown, for the first down.
It's 3rd down and 5. You can still get a first down. So they have to defend that corner with Calvin and make sure they don't get a first down. Not a lot of time left, but I would expect them to go to the end zone now.
Lions can pick up a first down by reaching the 5-yard line. They have 1 timeout remaining. Hill on 3rd and 5. Steps up. Now throws. The catch is made by Burleson with Newman, who was nearly able to pick it off. Newman on the coverage, and Burleson walks it in for a Lions touchdown.
It was fun talking to Nate Burleson. He talked about Dallas's corners being athletic. When you talk about Terrence Newman, Mike Jenkins, they're going to try and intercept the ball. He said, you know, I got to worry about the big hit. My route running has to be a lot crisper. There's a few things that I need to do right there in that situation. Terrence Newman put himself in position to have a game-changing play. That one went right through his hands. Detroit very lucky.
And Sean Hill also did a great job of gaining a little extra time moving in that pocket.
Rayner the extra point. Burleson the touchdown on Sean Hill's 20th completion of this first half.
Nate Burleson, so you got to be good with your routes, in and out quick. He stumbles a little bit. Terrence Newman's going to undercut him. He's right there, goes through his hands. Great concentration by Nate Burleson, because this does get tipped right at the point of the catch. That's a great catch and finish by Nate Burleson.
We saw Sean Hill there also stepping up, what we talked about earlier, about gaining a little bit of extra time. You're right, that could have easily been a 7 going the other way, Darryl, if that was a pick by Terrence Newman.
But instead, it's the Lions who scored 7 following the Dallas turnover, the fumble by Felix Jones. And Hill hits Burleson. Burleson's 4th touchdown of the season. I mentioned Hill with 20 completions. When you look at the Cowboys numbers, they have run only 20 plays in the first half, 13 on the opening drive. 2 3-and-outs, and then the Jones fumble on the first play of their last possession. So the Lions, their first lead of this game, with 10 seconds remaining in the first half here in Dallas. Darryl, you know Jason Garrett very well. You were teammates for many years with the Cowboys. What do you think his message will be to the team at halftime?
Well, the big thing is they haven't had the opportunities. As you pointed out, they come out and they have that great drive to open the game, you know, almost going 99 yards. But since that time, they've been out of sync offensively. Just hang in there. It's 10-7. You know, you had a big turnover. There's things that you can talk to your team about. But the biggest thing, and I think he harped on it last week as he was getting ready, is the response to adversity. It's going to be important to come out in the first series of the second half and put to rest what just happened here at the end of the first half and start anew.
And the Cowboys will get the ball first in the third quarter. They look terrific during their opening drive. 13 plays, 98 yards, but they trail by 3 at the half. The Visa halftime report is up next. Back in Dallas, follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. Cowboys will get the ball first in the second half, trailing the Lions 10-7. A late fumble by Felix Jones led to the Lions touchdown. Detroit 25 consecutive road losses. They led it the half in 4 of those 25.
The inability to finish those games is the one big thing that they have to get remedied this season.
Here's Brian McCann on the return for the Cowboys, and he's tackled shy of the 20-yard line. Now, from a Lions standpoint, Sean Hill did a nice job spreading the ball around in the first half.
He really did, and you heard Jimmy Johnson talk about 8 of 12 on third down. I mean, that's amazing. That means you are controlling the line of scrimmage. You're controlling the tempo of the game. The Dallas Cowboys, only 4 third down opportunities. They have really struggled. And you have that great opening drive, and it's kind of what we talked about at the beginning of carrying the emotion from last week into this game. Can you sustain it? Can you handle the success you had last week? You do that same thing here with the opening drive. You go right down the field. But since that time, your offense has not been able to do anything productive-wise.
13 plays, 98 yards on that first drive. Kettner was hit as he got rid of the football by Turk McBride. Started today's game for the injured Cliff Averill.
Turk McBride coming from the outside here on Colombo. Does a nice job of just sweeping by the hands. Brings the pressure on Kettner.
Since that first drive by the Cowboys, Darryl, the Lions with 162 yards of offense. Cowboys -2. Second and 10. Kettner to the fullback, Gronkowski. Levy makes the tackle after a short gain at the 21-yard line. Gain of 1.
You see right here, just the opportunity to try and get some offensive success. 13 plays, 98 yards, touchdown, boom. Hey, this is going to be great. You know, we're back where we were last week, all that momentum. And then look what's happened since that time. Obviously, the big critical one, the fumble there that gave Detroit points right at the end of the half. But this Dallas offense has been completely out of sync since that first drive.
When you factor in the penalty yardage, -1 since that 98-yard drive. 3rd down and 9. Movement prior to the snap.
False start, number 68, offense. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Left tackle Doug Free.
That's Felix Jones down on one knee on the Cowboys sideline.
So add injury to insult following his fumble.
And this is a critical area for Felix Jones. He's going to be predominantly your 3rd down back.
Now Kidna on 3rd and 14. Can't find anyone downfield, and he is wrapped up by the combination of Lawrence Jackson and the rookie out of Nebraska, and Ndamukong Suh.
Tony, this kind of goes back to what you talked about during the course of the game. The right side of Dallas's offensive line did a good job in the first half. But here in the second half, almost sack by Turk McBride coming around Mark Colombo. And there's just a little twist inside between Lawrence Jackson and Ndamukong Suh.
Yeah, that's those athletic guys with Mark Colombo and Leonard Davis. They have a hard time with those little guys. They tried to keep Witten in on that corner to help out a little bit. When he released, they were one-on-one with a little game, and that's where the pressure came from.
There's Logan up the sideline, forced out of bounds after a 9-yard return by Sam Hurd. Terrific field position for the Lions, who lead by 3. Lions lead by 3, and they start from their own 43-yard line. The toss to Maurice Morris, who gains 5 out to the 48. Marcus Ware, the tackle.
We talked about a lot of the weapons on this Dallas offense. There goes Felix Jones into the locker room, and their opportunities to convert on 3rd down will be hampered. Felix Jones, a good 3rd down back for this Dallas offense. But right now, that offensive line right there, Mark Colombo, Leonard Davis, struggling a little bit on that last series for the first time this afternoon.
3 wide receivers set for the Lions. 2nd down and 6. Hill in trouble. Down he goes. Back at the 38-yard line. Jason Hatcher, who missed the last 3 games with a groin injury, with his first sack this season for a loss of 8.
Working against Stephen Peterman, number 66. Gets those hands down, gets that inside rip. Once you get to that upfield shoulder, he's right into the face of Sean Hill.
Looked like Peterman was looking for a little help from the center, but you know, them one-on-ones, I mean, the advantage goes to those defensive linemen, but you got to slow them down more than you did on that play.
2nd Cowboys sack. Quick release from Hill on 3rd and 14. Pettigrew makes the catch, but not enough for a 1st down, so the Lions will punt.
Well, they needed a big defensive stop. I mean, Detroit has been controlling the flow of this game throughout the first half, and their defense comes out and does a great job against Dallas in the opening series here. Very important for that defense to get off the field in that situation.
First time the Cowboys have forced a 3-and-out today. Ryan McCann back deep. We are told Felix Jones has gone in for x-rays on his hip. We'll keep you posted. Nick Harris once again angling it away from McCann, and a terrific job by Wendling. John Wendling, number 29, leads the entire league in special teams tackles. Well, this time he gets downfield and keeps it out of the end zone. Cowboys trail by 3 after defeating the Giants 33-20 on the road last Sunday, and Jason Garrett's first game as interim head coach. Cowboys scored on their opening drive today, driving 98 yards, and John Kidna and the Cowboys start from the 4-yard line. Kidna from the end zone. Marion Barber, there is a flag. Flag back in the end zone.
Looks like it could be a safety right here.
If it's a hold against the Cowboys, it would be a safety.
Holding, number 70, offense. That foul occurred in the end zone. The result of the play is a safety.
Look at that.
Holding call in the end zone on Leonard Davis.
Number 70, Leonard Davis, working against Ndamukong Suh.
Yeah, you got to let that go. Once he gets by him and turns his shoulders, Ndamukong Suh, Leonard Davis has to let him go. And, you know, John Kidner does a good job of escaping, and he doesn't know that because he's behind him. But penalty in the end zone results in a safety.
Tony, what do you see different right now? I mean, the opening series of the second half, you had the near sack by Tank McBride. Then you had a sack. Right. Now you've got a safety in the end zone. What are they doing differently to Leonard Davis and Mark Colombo now that they weren't in the first half?
Well, I think Leonard Davis and Mark Colombo right now are more one-on-ones than anything. You had a back in the backfield on that last play, and there was no chip to the outside. Mark Colombo gets beat, and also Leonard Davis on the inside. What they're doing is they're isolating them so they have one-on-ones against Suh, against Lawrence Jackson, against Turk McBride. We saw Kyle Vanden Bosch out there. I mean, they're just rotating guys, athletic guys that can move, and these big guys, Leonard Davis and Mark Colombo, are struggling right now on that right side, and that's where they're attacking. So it's like sharks smelling the blood. Everybody's over there taking a turn on these two.
So you put the speed guy wide on Mark Colombo to get him to have to kick out wide, and now you've isolated Leonard Davis in space against Suh.
Absolutely, and they're playing man. You know, they're man blocking the Cowboys. They're not sliding. They're not really helping each other a lot because they're bringing four guys out of the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, they got to start turning or sliding the protection right now.
Absolutely.
Logan takes the free kick at the 10-yard line. And a stop shy of the 30. So the Lions back on offense following the safety, leading the Cowboys by 5. Back in Dallas with producer Barry Landis, director Michael Frank, Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Tony Saragusa. Detroit Lions lead the Dallas Cowboys 12-7. Lions start from their own 30-yard line following the safety as Sean Hill hands off to Maurice Morris, who's been a bit of a workhorse today after not having carried the ball since week 3.
Let's go back and take a look at the safety. Right here you have Marion Barber in the backfield. Okay, and he's going to come to the right-hand side over here. He needs to go and help Mark Colombo. You see Mark Colombo, that outside tackle? He needs to go and chip him a little bit. He's got Turk McBride right now on the outside. But that's how they're isolating Leonard Davis and Mark Colombo. They're going and slide them to the outside.
And you know what, Goose? When Kyle Vanden Bosch told us last week they were out of sync a little bit. Right now, this Detroit team is completely in sync. The defense is getting stops. The offense comes out. They take a little time. Punt down. John Wendling. Don't forget the great play that John Wendling made. Absolutely. To put them in that position to have the chance to get that safety.
Hill looking to set up the screen on first down. There's Wendling, who down the ball, kept it out of the end zone, and then it was down at the 4-yard line.
A little bit of holding going on in there also.
Yeah, he's got to get out and show himself to the quarterback a little bit. Maurice Morris has to get out away from the coverage to declare himself as an option for that screen. He got caught up in the middle. Brady James does a great job reading it. Jay Ratliff was moving.
Second down and 10. It's Morris up the middle. Down to the 45-yard line. Anthony Spencer, the tackle.
They're trying to get that run game going up the middle, Darryl.
They are. I'm surprised, too.
Yeah, because they really didn't have much success there in the first half. Everything that they did that was successful was on the edges. The short passes to the outside, getting into that secondary and forcing them to make tackles, which they weren't doing in the first half.
8 for 13 on third down are the Lions today. They must get to the Cowboys' 48.
Comes the pressure.
Big cushion up on the top side with Calvin Johnson.
And it's Orlando Scandrick who bats down that attempt by Hill.
That's the challenge when you're going to bring the pressure, because you're going to put your secondary in one-on-ones with Calvin Johnson. Orlando Scandrick does a great job knowing that ball is going to come out quick, elevating and knocking that ball down.
Me and you talk about it all the time, Darryl. Should you cover more, or should you bring the pressure? And you know me, I'm a pressure guy. Bring as many guys as you can, because eventually that coverage is going to break down.
Harris Dallas punting from his own 33, Goose. Des Bryant will let it go, and it takes a Lions bounce. Again, it's Wendling, and then it's picked up by McCann. And McCann with another big return. Brian McCann block down the sideline. Touchdown, Brian McCann. 96 yards.
Heads up play by McCann. Because once the kicking team touches the ball, it can't be turned over. So he has nothing but positive things that can happen.
If John Wendling had this to do all over again, you think he might want to just try and catch that and land on his own and down it. But what a great heads-up play by Brian McCann. And watch the block he gets on the sideline by Orlando Scandrick right there. Check the rearview mirror. Exactly. It's always the guy coming from behind. Almost every long return you get that escort out, but nobody's checking the rearview mirror.
Officially 97 yards. McCann playing in his third NFL game, had a 101-yard touchdown on an interception last week, and now a 97-yard punt return, second longest in team history. Brian McCann was in camp with the Cowboys, was released. He was signed by the Baltimore Ravens, was released, brought back to Dallas, and in 3 games, he has scored 2 touchdowns, averaging 99 yards.
And don't forget, he was one-on-one with the kicker in the first half, or he'd have a 100-yard kickoff return to go with those 2.
And Goose, you made a good point. After Wendling touched the football, that's called an illegal touch. So even if McCann fumbled, the Cowboys would have maintained possession. Logan out of bounds after 20. Late flag.
After the play was over, unnecessary roughness, number 96 of the receiving team. That penalty will be marked half the distance for the goal. First down, Detroit.
Andre Fluellen.
You got to be a smart player in the NFL. Right now, all the momentum is going away, and you contribute to it. But watch Orlando Scandrick with a great look right there.
Watch how close McCann's feet come to going out of bounds. At one point, it looked like he might have just touched that his heel right there.
Wow.
Wow, they missed that. And it's a tough angle, but...
That was down the Cowboys sideline, Tony. I don't think they're going to help Detroit out.
Yeah, you're not getting a replay on that big jumbotron in the middle of the field on that.
So now the Lions go back to work. Hill hitting job at best for a short game. Time for a game break with Kurt.
No replay needed here, but the Vikings might want a do-over for this game. Aaron Rodgers hooking up with Greg Jennings. Second time today they've done this. 46-yard touchdown run after the catch. It is now 24-3 Packers all over the Vikings, who are arguing amongst themselves now on the sidelines. Kenny?
And Kurt, so Greg Jennings used to be one of Brett Favre's favorite targets. And Felton loses the football. Cowboys have it. Jason Hatcher, who had a sack earlier, with the recovery.
Jerome Felton had that ball out in the air, out in space. Let's take a look. Handoff right up the middle. Gets a little breakaway. The ball's out. Nice.
Sean Lee
reaching up and just stripping the ball right out from him.
You know, Goose, we talked about running back by committee, but when you put Jerome Felton in there, he's your fullback. He's going to be a lead blocker predominantly. He's only had 10 carries coming into this game today, 3 today. So you're not used to how these guys attack the football. Sean Lee, as he's going by, just reaches up and punches it out.
So the momentum has shifted to the Cowboys. Rashard Choice out of the backfield. His first touch today. It's Dominican Sue who runs him down after a gain of 8. Rashard Choice, the third-year back, returned 26 yesterday, setting up second down and 1.
But it's so important for this Detroit defense right now to stand up and make a stand. Hold Dallas to only a field goal at 17-12. it puts you at a touchdown. One possession touchdown, and you've got the lead back. All the momentum has swung to the Dallas Cowboys right now. You've got to stand up and make a play. Somebody on this defense.
Second down and 1. Choice in the backfield, takes the handoff, and picks up a first down. Down to the Lions' 5-yard line. Cowboys still without Felix Jones. Went in for x-rays on his hip. They were negative. He may return. And so far this series, it has been Rashard Choice out of the backfield.
Rashard does a really nice job in the backfield, too, waiting for his blockers to go, seeing where the open cut is, and making that cut to the backside. I think that play was designed to go to the left. Nothing was there, and he made a great cut to go and get some yardage.
First and goal from the 5. Again, it's Choice. And he gains 3 down to the 2-yard line. Dominican Sue made the tackle.
And a good job by Julian Peterson also. That hole really expanded for Rashard Choice. Julian got in there, filled that up.
The Cowboys have finally reached 100 yards of offense. They also have a 97-yard punt return for a touchdown from Brian McCann.
Well, they better not let Des Bryant be single covered in this situation. In the first half, they got here, just threw it up to him. It looks like they've got one-on-one again up here at the top. You've got Louis Delmas here. You think he's going to slide over and help out.
Kitna to the end zone. And the catch is made for a touchdown by Miles Austin. His first reception today. Fielding the extra point. Cowboys have scored 14 points in 2 minutes, 43 seconds. They lead the Lions by 9. Miles Austin, a Pro Bowler last season with his 4th touchdown here in 2010. Set up by the Lions turnover, the fumble by Felton.
Oh, what a heck of a throw by John Kitna on that back shoulder. A lot of Detroit defenders coming inside out. He put it in a great location for Miles Austin to go back and get it off the back shoulder.
Lions will start from their own 20, trailing by 9.
Let's go back and take a listen to John Kitna at the line of scrimmage. You heard him change the play, gets Miles Austin to come in, brings his protection to the right side, slips over the top, and look at the position of that throw. Nice job by John Kitna at the line of scrimmage.
The second touchdown pass today. Kitna was the Lions quarterback, Darrell, the last time Detroit won a road game back in October of '07. Roy Williams of the Cowboys was his leading receiver that day. As the Lions defeated Chicago, they've lost all 25 on the road since. As the catch is made by Morris, who was not touched. So a terrific second effort. And he picks up a first down.
Well, you mentioned it at the top, Kenny. You know, Detroit's 2-7, but they've been in every game. And everybody we talked to talked about being able to fix their problems in the second half. And sometimes specifically the fourth quarter. Well, they've got an opportunity right here at 21-12. They've played well all afternoon. They've just run into a terrible stretch of about 3.5 minutes of football that's exploded on it. What are you going to do if you're not going to be considered the same old Detroit Lions, and you've got to find a way to fight through these situations in games and find a way to win them?
On the 31-yard line, this is Best. And it's Sean Lee, who forced the fumble moments ago, who makes the tackle. Detroit 0-16 2 years ago. They bring in Jim Schwartz. They only won 2 games last year, 2-14. He told us last night most of our games last season were not very competitive. This year, we're only 2-7, but every game has been competitive.
There's no doubt they're a better team. There's no doubt that they're a more talented team, but it's not translating to victories yet because of these critical mistakes.
Hill's pass was behind. Job at best.
The other thing, too, is if we mention it all the time, this is a quarterback-driven league, and Sean Hill has done a great job coming in and filling in for Matthew Stafford. But Matthew Stafford, the only game that he finished as a starter, they won. The 2 games that he went out, when he left the game, they had the lead. So Sean Hill has come in and done a great job, but you have to understand, this whole offense is built around Matthew Stafford.
Stafford had started only those 3 games. It's Hill's 7th start. 3rd down and 10. Here comes the pressure. Hill to Nate Burleson, wide open, and Burleson, chased by Sensabaugh, is finally tackled at the Cowboys' 14-yard line. A 58-yard pass play.
Job at best from the backfield. Watch how he comes across, picks up the blitzer right there, and gives Sean Hill plenty of time to get downfield.
I don't know what Gerald Sensabaugh was waiting on as Nate Burleson was running by him. He didn't have anybody behind him.
Burleson's longest reception of the season, 58 yards. And this time Burleson slips and loses one. There's Scott Linehan, the Lions offensive coordinator, who worked with Jason Garrett in Miami back in 2005. Linehan was the coordinator and Garrett the quarterback's coach. So they know each other well, very well. Second down and 12. Hill to the end zone, and Calvin Johnson comes down with it for a Lions touchdown.
There you go. If you want to start proving to people that you are a talented team and that this is not the same old Detroit Lions, that is the way to start. That is a tremendous response to 2 really, really key critical plays that have gone against you. Watch the double move. You talk about aggressive corners. It's a little post corner post.
Great ball placement, too, by Sean Hill.
And Calvin Johnson completed the process of the catch as he hit the ground.
I don't know how you stop that throw right there or catch. Standing in the end zone, I mean, that was just perfect execution.
Of course, we are referring to the Week 1 game against Chicago.
Can't defend that throw right there, Darryl.
Not middle of the field.
Nope. Huge
Huge height advantage, you know, in the matchup. And as you pointed out, Tony, put in a great spot. That's a great response. Shows a lot of character by this Detroit team. And it's something that the players feel, it's something that the coaches feel, but it's just not translating to the record. So everybody, all football fans across the country, when they see Detroit at 2-7, they're like, yeah, I've heard they're talented, I heard they're better, but you know what? There's no proof here right now. That's a huge response. Goes a long way in trying to get this thing turned around so people across the country have the respect for the Detroit Lions.
So the Lions drive 80 yards after the Cowboys scored 2 touchdowns in under 3 minutes. Second touchdown pass today for Sean Hill. We've talked about the close games. The Lions have either had the lead or been within 3 points in the 4th quarter in 7 of their 9 games this season. There's Bryant. Stopped just shy of the 30 by former Cowboy Bobby Carpenter. Kidner with a couple of touchdown passes today for the Cowboys. He's 13 of 16. Felix Jones injured the hip late in the 2nd quarter. X-rays were negative. And Jones has returned to the Cowboys backfield. Three wide receivers on 1st down. Kidner firing downfield. Bryant, the intended receiver. Alfonso Smith on the coverage.
Hey, Tony, they've made an adjustment with their protections, at least on that play. You talked about how they were, look how wide the defender is out here. That's going to pull him this way. That's going to isolate Leonard Davis inside.
Yeah, they're trying to draw Mark Colombo out, and Jason Witten also stays in there and helps him.
Exactly. Give him a little bit of help so he doesn't have to bail so quick and expand that area that Leonard Davis has to work in against Ndamukong Suh.
Even if he hits him on the line of scrimmage just a little bit and then goes out on his route, that's a huge help for an offensive lineman.
2nd and 10. This is Felix Jones. Jones gains 4 out to the 33-yard line. His first carry since returning from the X-rays to his hip. Jones with the fumble late in the first half, which led to the Lions' first touchdown today.
And this is a lesson for everybody out there. If you're going to go down and chop block, use your shoulder. Don't roll in there with your hip. As he got right to the point of contact, he kind of rolled his hip into it, took a knee right on that hip. Put your shoulder and go right through the thigh of the defender.
3rd down and 5. Kitna steps up, dumps it off to Barber, who picks up a first down. Marion Barber out to the 49-yard line for a gain of 15.
You get everybody dropping back in coverage, you can find some nice soft spots. Again, he checks to make sure everybody's secure that time, Tony, and then he breaks a little tackle. DeAndre Levy has an opportunity to get him for a short gain, but he runs through that arm tackle.
Yeah, then defenders there, the tackle and the end, are getting wider and wider on Leonard Davis and Mark Colombo.
1st and 10 from the 49-yard line. Off the play fake. Kitna can't find anyone downfield. He's in Lions territory to the Detroit 48. Gain of 3. Corey Williams slow to get up.
And we got another Detroit Lion down too.
Lawrence Jackson.
Ran into his own man right there.
Wow.
Oof, that's a big collision right there.
Lions medical staff tending to Lawrence Jackson, former first-round pick of the Seahawks, acquired from Seattle this past August.
Is that Julian Peterson that came across with the collision? That's 2 big guys going full speed after the quarterback. Kyle Vandenbosch. That's a big collision. There's some good news.
There you go.
Jackson back on his feet. Walking to the sideline under his own power.
And he's done a nice job today, Tony. He's one of those guys that you're talking about, that rotation that they're putting out to challenge Mark Colombo. Lawrence Jackson is one of those guys who they're utilizing his speed in that wide alignment.
And that's also got to be tough for a guy. You know, it doesn't matter what right tackle it is in the league. When you get multiple guys you have to prepare for, usually it's only 1 or 2 that you're going to see. But when you're seeing 3, 4, 5 different guys lining up on you, and you don't know what they have in their toolbox as far as moves, that's tough for a guy.
2nd down and 7. Kitna complete to Witten for a first down at the Lions' 35-yard line.
John Kitna's in a groove right now. Here's another really nice throw. Jason Witten, watch him get in between the defenders. Julian Peterson underneath. Alfonso Smith over the top, and he sneaks it in right between them.
Jason Witten just does such a good job of using his body, Darryl. You never see him extending the arm, getting, offensive pass interference. He's always just using them shoulders and bouncing off guys and getting open downfield.
Here's Felix Jones, gains 2. Kyle Vandenbosch was not on the field for that play. He was shaken up on the previous play, headed to the Lions sidelines. There's Vandenbosch.
Hard keeping that guy off the field, Kyle Vandenbosch. That motor's got a lot of fuel in it, Darryl. He wouldn't know what to do. If he played only half a game, he'd go home crazy. I don't know if they get him on the plane. Thanks so much.
2nd and 8, play action. And Kitna's pass is short. Intended for Miles Austin. Vanden Bosch back onto the field.
Almost able to go down and pull this one off the turf. Good sell job.
It was close. You can hear the fans react as they have a look at it.
But it hit the turf first.
Yeah.
I mean, so when you catch the ball and you go to the turf, if the ball, don't throw it, Jason. I don't think you're going to get that one turned because it hit the turf first.
That's a 52 fake out. Grab it and then to go away.
Yeah, if you've got possession and you go to the turf with possession and the ball doesn't move, they'll give you the catch, but that hit the turf first.
3rd down and 8. Kitna takes off. And the 38-year-old Kitna, second oldest starting quarterback in the NFL. Only Brett Favre is older. He picks up 9 yards and a Dallas first down.
What Kitna's doing, running for first downs like this, Dallas, helping out those offensive linemen. Now the defenders that are rushing the passer, now they have to worry and see where he's going to be. Normally, you know, in a pregame, I've heard those guys talking about, you know, John Kitna being in one area, you know, staying in the pocket. They know where he's going to be. Now with him moving out and running for first downs, now it's going to be easier for those offensive linemen to just go and run their guy upfield.
Time winding down in this 3rd quarter as Kitna finds a wide open Tashard Choice. And he's cut down by Louis Delmas at the 19-yard line after a gain of 5. So the Cowboys with 2 touchdowns in under 3 minutes in the 3rd quarter lead the Lions by 2 as we head to the 4th. Fox NFL Sunday will return after these messages. Stadium. Look at some of that artwork we discussed earlier.
It is impressive. It's fun just to walk around. When you get here a little bit early, you can take a little tour, go through the stadium, and see all the different works of art.
Cowboys with a 2-point lead as we begin the 4th. Kitna to Witten. And Jason Witten flag on a first down, late flag. Flag was thrown after Witten was forced out of bounds.
Pass interference, number 82, offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
What were you saying, Tony, a couple plays ago?
He must have heard me. He definitely heard me. Let's see what he did here. Here he goes out. Does he extend? Oh, you see, he can't extend the arm.
That's exactly what you said. He usually uses his shoulder.
Yeah,
he never lets that arm come away.
Usually he like runs into him and like bumps him with the shoulder. I mean, if he doesn't extend that arm, he gets away with it. He's sneaky now.
I remember what Kenny Albert said. This Detroit team has either led or been within 3 in 7 of the 9 games this year in the 4th quarter. Here we are again. Now they're 8 for 10. The only games, Minnesota and the Giants, that they weren't within those parameters. You know, have they learned their lesson? Have they found a way to win these games?
Kitna moving to his left, and he throws it away as he heard footsteps from Turk McBride.
John Kitna saw Miles Austin way out near the sideline, one-on-one. He wanted to get the ball to him, but just couldn't get out there. Look at Miles Austin just staring at him saying, what happened? What happened?
Third down and 15, 11th play of this drive for the Cowboys. Inside handoff to Marion Barber, and Barber picks up a first down on 3rd and 15. He takes it all the way down to the Lions' 5-yard line, a gain of 24.
What a great play call by Jason Garrett. I mean, Detroit is sitting there at 3rd and 15. You've got an opportunity to force a field goal attempt, and they call the running play. Louis Delmas just takes a horrible angle as he's coming up the fill from the safety spot. Tough, hard running by Marion Barber.
That's Barber's longest run this season, guys. Only the 3rd run for the Cowboys this year of at least 20 yards.
Some more examples of some bad tackling by some of those DBs. Can't tackle with your shoulder and your arms next to your body. You got to wrap it up.
First and goal from the 5. Kitna in trouble. Down he goes. It's Lawrence Jackson again, who was shaken up earlier in this drive. He shared a sack earlier with Sue, and he takes down Kittner for a loss of 8.
Well, this is good coverage. Watch right there. I think they wanted Felix Jones on the outside. He was covered, so now John Kittner is going to pull that ball down again, and Lawrence Jackson is there for the sack.
But Jason Witten stayed in on that one and sort of tried to block Lawrence Jackson.
That's a big play right there by the Detroit defense.
Second and goal from the 13. Barber, his face mask was grabbed. Ooh, his face mask or his hair.
Well, if it's his hair, it's legit.
And that might be what the officials are discussing right now.
Yeah, if he had his hair, it's part of the uniform. When these guys decide to wear their dreads long,
Hair is fair game.
Personal foul. Horse collar tackle. Number 90, defense. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic.
I don't agree with that.
That is not a horse collar. You're right, Darryl.
No, that's a bad call. That's a bad call. Jim Schwartz has every right to be upset. And Dominican Sue grabbed Marion Barber's hair and pulled him backwards, but there was no movement. There was nothing by definition of a horse collar tackle on that play.
Jim Schwartz is down here on the 10-yard line trying to yell at the officials right now. He has every right to go and scream.
So it sets up first and goal from the 5. As Barber was stripped. Now this is Louis Delmas. But we heard a whistle. The play was blown dead.
The officials did not even see him grab the ball. They were still looking for the ball, and he was down in the end zone.
Really on the field as forward progress was stopped.
The Lions cannot believe it. And now Jim Schwartz has thrown the challenge flag.
There you go, Marion Barber fighting for yards. Now, number one, he's going to be down. You're going to throw the challenge about forward progress, but I think that his knees were on the turf before that ball came out. Now, what we need to do, let's go back and clean up the play before on the Marion Barber horse collar. You can see him. He's still reaching back. He's still mad at that play. I think he just threw the challenge flag on that one because
really
he
on
is
the
so
field
mad.
is that the runner's forward progress was stopped. That is a non-challengeable play. Dallas's ball. Second down.
So you got to be careful when you go to the challenge what you're actually challenging. If he would have said that the runner was not down before the ball came out, but you cannot review. He's trying to throw this one through the uprights.
He was trying to through somebody. Oh, man.
You're right. He wanted to give the officials a piece of his mind about that
And he has
previous tackle on
He has
Barber.
all the right, too.
I think it still all goes back to the dread. So let's bring in Mike
let's see
Pereira
what
and
he
talk
has to
about
say.
this and clean this one up. Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Well,
All right,
we'll
we'll get back to him.
We'll check back with Mike momentarily, the former vice president of officiating in the Fox Command Center. Second and goal for the Cowboys from the 5. Felix Jones tackled by Andre Fluellen. And now we head to Los Angeles and ask about the tackle by the hair of Marion Barber. Mike, what did you think?
Hey, that's a legal tackle. I mean, you can pull a guy down by the hair. Can't pull him up off the ground, but if they're going to wear their hair out, it's understood. Palomalu brought out that when his hair was long, and Ricky Williams. That is a legal play to grab hair and pull down by the hair. So that really should not have been a horse collar. Then that replay situation, they ruled on the field that forward progress had been stopped. That's not reviewable. In fact, the knees were down also before the ball got popped out, but crazy two-play sequence.
Yeah, we certainly felt the knees were down as well. Thanks, Mike.
Nice outfit, Mike.
I'm modeled after you, Goose.
Third and goal from the 4. And Kittner's pass is caught for a touchdown. Once again, Miles Austin.
We talked to John Kidna. He said he's waited his whole professional career to be in a situation like this in Dallas, where you've got so many weapons, and he's done a great job this afternoon of bringing all those playmakers into the fold.
Nice
Miles Austin, Des Bryant, everybody, Goose.
Nice to have choices, huh, Darryl?
You ain't kidding.
Oh.
A 16-play drive. Jason Garrett's excited. Let's see a smile, Jason. Welcome back. Cowboys leading the Lions by 9 following Miles Austin's second touchdown reception of this second half. Cowboys with 3 second-half touchdowns. The first coming on a 97-yard punt return by Brian McCann.
Wow, that was a big mistake by David Beeler. He had that happen to him last week, too.
Free kick out of bounds on the kicking team. By rule, the ball will be placed at the 40-yard line. Timeout.
So terrific field position for the Lions, who trail by 9. The most controversial hair in the stadium. Marion Barber pulled down by his hair. It was ruled a horse tackle. Now the Lions back to work, trailing by 9. Hill's pass is complete. Calvin Johnson takes it out close to midfield and close to a first down.
While we were at commercial, Jim Schwartz is talking with the officials, and they're still trying to tell him that it was a horse collar. But here's the point. You're the second most penalized team in the NFL. Until you fix that, you're going to have calls like that go against you. They have 8 today. They should only have 7, but they have 8 today. They've got to stop committing penalties.
Here's Morris. He picks up the first, and to show you how big that penalty call was against the Lions, had no flags been thrown, Cowboys would have been facing a third down, 3rd and goal from the 11. Instead, it was an automatic first down, 1st and goal from the 5.
And what will happen is Detroit will go and send that play in. The NFL officials will review it, and then they'll give them another ruling. And on a situation like that, they'll say, listen, we missed this call, we blew it, sorry. So that's about as much as you're going to get out of the NFL on a bad call like that.
And Goose, that pass nearly picked off by Orlando Scandrick.
But just hang in there. Just keep fighting. You did it the last time. You know, you're down 20. It's a 9-point game again. It's gone from 21-12 to 28-19. Just keep fighting. Don't buy into the legacy of what this organization has been for the last 10 years.
And they are.
Yeah, if you are a new group, keep fighting through this the way you have all the other adversity you face here in the second half.
Second down and 10 from the Cowboys 49. Hill over the middle, and it's Brandon Pettigrew who picks up a Detroit first down. Time for a game break with Kurt.
Well, Buffalo was down 31-14 at half, but Ryan Fitzpatrick hooks up with Steve Johnson for the second time today. Leads a 21 unanswered point string by the Bills, and they now lead it 35-31. Kenny Moose and Goose.
Jimmy Johnson looks smart now, guys.
His job at best.
You know, job at best now. We talked about him with the 2 turf toes. He just doesn't have that explosiveness that he did, you know, when he was healthy earlier in the season.
No, he doesn't.
He tries to lower the shoulder there, but if you don't have that push off your feet, off your toes, things like that are going to happen to you. Mike Jenkins comes up and delivers a good blow.
Gain of just 1, second down and 9. Hill to Best. And a nice tackle made by Brady James at the 35-yard line. Gain of just 2.
And getting Maurice Morris in for Javid Best because he can't. I mean, Brady James is a good coverage linebacker, but Javid Best just not 100% right now.
Lions now facing a 3rd down and 7, trailing the Cowboys by 9.
Calvin Johnson down in the bottom of your screen right here in one-on-one.
Matched up with Terrence Newman. Hill taken down back at the 46 6-yard line by Jay Ratliff, his second sack today.
Well, there you go, Darryl. It doesn't matter if you get all one-on-ones. If you can't get the ball off, it doesn't matter.
You know what, Tony, and you're right on the fringe of the red zone, too. You see Shaun Hill coming off. He may have banged that left forearm on this. But Jay Ratliff just right up the center. But you're on the 35-yard line. You know, you're right on that cusp of maybe being able to try a long field goal. That sack cost you the opportunity for points.
Ryan McCann back deep. 97-yard punt return earlier. This time he lets it bounce. And it rolls into the end zone for a touchback. Under 8 minutes remaining. Cowboys by 9. Cowboys leading the Lions by 9. Midway through the fourth quarter.
Scott Linehan trying to tell Shaun Hill, you know, in that situation when we've got an opportunity for points, just throw it away. And Sean's like, la, 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 I don't hear you. I didn't have enough time.
Sacked for the third time today. Felix Jones. Terrific run.
All right, Darryl, who was it that came up like that with their hands at their side? We talk about tackling 10 times a half. Let's take a look at this. There we go. Goes. Nice cut. Open field tackle right there. Amari Spivey.
Amari Spivey was the first one. Yeah, coming into the hole. Just drops his head, goes to his knees. I mean, as a safety, you've got to fill the running lanes as a run supporter. And you can't do that by dropping your head and going to your knees.
Yeah, when you see a hole like that open up, you're going to see as a defender the same thing a running back's going to see. So when you see that hole open up, you got to go and run as fast as you can to that hole and meet him in the hole.
Jones gains 14. Here's Jones again. Now to the 36-yard line. Gain of 2.
And if you don't, you can play soccer right here. Right, Kenny?
Absolutely, Goose. And you can also check out the best teams from around Europe. Battle in the Champions League. You can find it on Fox Soccer. This week, the Scottish champs, Rangers FC, take on Mexican sensation Chicharito and Manchester United. Live in HD and only on Fox Soccer.
You know, Darryl, I played soccer like when I was 5. But obviously, the body wasn't really meant for a soccer player.
I don't know. He could have been a good sweeper.
Yeah, maybe a goalie or something.
Ooh, penalty marker back at the 32 as Kitna is brought down at the 43-yard line.
Holding, number 75, offense. 10-yard penalty, second down.
Mark Colombo, the right tackle.
And one of the things that Dallas struggled with in the first half of the season was penalties also. And they've got that rectified. And, you know, Jason Garrett has done a great job of establishing a culture in Dallas as they prepare, holding everybody accountable, challenging them to be better, showing them the matchups that he's worried about. You see there today, 4 for 30. But there were several times this year when the Dallas Cowboys were double-digit penalty offenders, very similar to where the Detroit Lions have found themselves the last few weeks. So you can get it fixed. And until Detroit gets it fixed, perception sometimes is a big part of reality, and officials are going to just start flagging you because you're the number 2 penalized team in the league.
And they're not far from getting it fixed either. This is a completely different team than we saw 2 years ago, Darryl.
Second and 17, the screen to Jones, and Felix Jones takes it across midfield. Not showing any signs of that hip injury suffered in the first half as Jones gains 25.
Well, you invite everybody inside. You get it on the edge quick. Kyle Kozar is the critical block, number 63 right there. Because Louis Delmas is coming up from the safety position to support that. And Kyle Kozar is able to get outside and bump him past Felix Jones.
See big Leonard Davis downfield right there, number 70. He's going to hit somebody. Big guys like that don't run more than 5 yards without hitting somebody.
Luckily, you were not in his path, Goose.
Absolutely, Kenny. I did run more than 5 yards though.
We saw you tackle Evan Smith before the game. Here's Marion Barber. And Barber gains 3 down to the 46-yard line as we hit 5 minutes remaining, fourth quarter. Cowboys looking for their first home win this season.
And Ndamukong Suh right there. Helmet comes off and he still gets in on the tackle. That's a defensive lineman right there. Right at the start of the play. Watch right here. Boom. His helmet comes off. He's still fighting. Fist in the face, jumps in there, gets hit. That's football, boys. You don't quit. Little setback right there, no helmet, no problem.
He doesn't have to go play soccer?
No, he's not a soccer player.
He was, though.
He could be. He's athletic enough.
He was a terrific soccer player. In fact, he attempted an extra point against the Jets a couple of weeks ago.
False start, number 75, offense. 5-yard penalty, second down.
Mark Colombo again after Jason Hansen suffered the injury. Sue hit the upright on the extra point attempt. The emergency place kicker for the Lions.
Here's Sue's number, 7 sacks, 1 interception, a touchdown, and 1 extra point attempt.
But he earned the right to be the backup to the emergency kicker.
Came close. Barber cuts to the outside. And he's tackled by Julian Peterson. And
they're going to get it for a horse collar. Watch this.
Now 2 flags.
They have the hair again? Now that's
Personal foul, horse collar tackle on the defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
You see how Julian Peterson kind of crawls up. He gets his hands inside the shoulder pad. But still, it's not that yank straight down from the back. I think they've really got to clean this penalty up, and I understand it's for player safety. I understand that there were several very, very serious leg injuries on those horse collar tackles, but it's pulling the guy directly down, straight back. These are coming off to the side.
Yeah, I agree with you, Darryl. You know, there's a lot of gray area there. Sometimes when you grab, you don't know, what you're going to get. You know, if it's a face mask, you let it go. But if you get something, a jersey or the shoulder pads, if it's not from the back, and that's what they told us, if it's not from the back, it shouldn't be a horse collar.
And straight down violently.
Yeah. Yep.
One of the injuries you're referring to years back, the other Roy Williams, who played for the Cowboys, on Terrell Owens.
Well, Roy Williams is kind of the guy who probably is responsible for the rule. I mean, he got several people, not that Roy Williams, the Roy Williams who's now up in Cincinnati, who are losing to the Buffalo Bills, as Jimmy Johnson predicted.
The Bills, who won for the first time this season last week over the Lions, 14-12, lead the Bengals 42-31. Second down and 7. Barber again. Barber down to the 32-yard line.
It hasn't been pretty for this running game in the Dallas offense, but I tell you what, it's been very effective. You look right there, the first half, you stay with it, you keep hitting them, you pound them, you soften them up. Then in the second half, you come back in, you grind that clock, and you shorten the game.
Lions use their first timeout.
And we are in the middle of the Horse Collar 101 session with the Detroit Lions. That was the one earlier on our left, and here's the most recent one on the right. Trying to get that sorted out.
Lions use their second timeout, and we spoke briefly with Mike Pereira earlier following the first horse collar call against the Lions. And Mike, you saw during the timeout all of the discussion about the second horse collar penalty as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the second one is a horse collar. I mean, he grabbed inside the collar on the side, and you know, they ought to take the word immediate out and really put all one act in. So if it's in the collar on the side, which is still a foul on the side, and he does pull him down like that, to me that's a horse collar. The first one is the one to me that wasn't in any stretch really, because even if he was inside the collar, he let it go and didn't pull him down and went over the top and brought him down. So this immediate action is the one that confuses people, and I think that's the part of the rule that they need to look at cleaning it up and say, all one act. If you get inside that collar and you swing around and pull him down, then I think that can't be a horse collar, and that's what that is a horse collar, and that's what they ought to take a look at.
But doesn't he have to be pulled straight down backwards, Mike, not off to the side? It appeared to me on Marion Barber that it came to the side more. It's
yeah, there's nothing at all that says about being pulled down backwards. The only thing it talks about direction is the hand has to be inside the side or the back of the collar. Or whether he pulls them down to the side or pulls them down backwards, you're putting yourself at the same risk of injury when you pull them down from the side. So that's not the element of it. I think that it's just the immediate part that needs to be addressed. And certainly when you're blocked with the hair and you don't see and you can't even tell whether it's the hair or inside the collar, if it's the hair, you got to let that go. You know, the runner is at his own risk when he lets that hair hang out like that. And if a guy is grabbing, to me, if it's in question, if you're questioning whether or not it's the hair or the collar, then you let it go and just go with the fact that it's the hair.
So that you wasn't questioned. Roland Marion Barber wasn't questioned in your eyes, Mike?
How about this? Kitna on the bootleg. Touchdown.
You got it.
On 4th and 1, Kitna runs it in from 29 yards out. The longest run of Kitna's 14-year NFL career.
You know, the funny thing about this whole scenario is that when we talked to Kyle Vandenbosch, he said, you know, we're going to avoid some running lanes because we don't have to worry about John Kitna beating us running the football. And he has made a number of plays today, stepping up and moving outside and being able to throw the ball. He's pulled it down and converted a long 3rd down, running the football, and right there, a naked bootleg around the left side for a long touchdown that probably seals this game.
You know what? The Dallas Cowboys are having fun on the sideline, Darryl. They're smiling. You know, John Kitna right here running it in for a touchdown. But the whole team is celebrating. That's something that we haven't seen, you know, in a while from Dallas. Last week, a good game, but this is the Dallas Cowboys right here that we're used to seeing.
Well, you got to have fun. You got to be able to enjoy what you're doing. Football is a hard sport, and I don't think a lot of people understand that. It's mentally draining during the week. It has the huge physical element to it. And when you're struggling through a 1-7 season like they were, or even the Detroit Lions now, looking at 2-8, it's so hard. It's such a beatdown when you're not having success and you're not having fun. So I agree, Tony. We have not seen this in Dallas since late last season. So it's good to see him smiling and having fun again. And a great job hanging in there. Because after that safety, when they had the holding penalty in the end zone, you know, Detroit had kind of stolen all the momentum of this game and was really controlling it in the 3rd quarter. And then the Brian McCann punt return on a great heads-up play. And then the Jerome Felton fumble that Dallas turned into 7 points right after that kind of blew this game open, and it took the life out of Detroit.
Well, it was that John Kitna's longest career run. It's longer than any of Tony Romo's career runs. Ronald DeMarco on the return.
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 39 of the return team. Half the distance to the goal. 1st down, Detroit.
So with 3:11 remaining, we remind you that the Cowboys will be back in action on Fox this Thursday on Thanksgiving Day as they take on the New Orleans Saints. Remember last December, Cowboys went down to New Orleans and handed the 13-0 Saints their first loss of the season.
I'm sure New Orleans remembers that. It's a quick turnaround to Thursday. There'll be some guys practicing with a little bit of soreness Monday and Tuesday, getting themselves ready for the Saints, for these Cowboys and the Lions. The Lions play the Patriots.
Hill complete to Aaron Brown, second year back out of TCU. Cowboys with 4 second-half touchdowns. The first scored on that 97-yard punt return by McCann as Skandrick really picks that one off, pass intended for Nate Burleson. So the Cowboys 2 minutes 43 seconds away from handing the Lions their 26th consecutive road loss. Look at the other major sports. The Sacramento Kings in the NBA lost 43 in a row away from home. The Ottawa Senators in 92-93, 38 straight. Connie Mack's 43 Philadelphia A's and Casey Stengel's 1963 Mets with the longest road losing streaks in Major League Baseball. 4 down and 8. Hill airing it out, looking for Calvin Johnson, and Terrence Newman comes down with the interception.
Just trying to make something happen, throwing the ball up in the air, hoping that Calvin Johnson can go get it. Good position by Terrence Newman, being behind him, understanding what's going on in the game right now. The one thing you can't allow to happen is to let somebody get by you. So he's playing very deep, very soft, puts himself in a good position to be able to intercept that ball.
Newman's second pick this year, 25th of his career. Cowboys with 28 points in the second half today, Darryl. The club record, most points in the second half. As Kittner hands it off to Barber. Club record is 36.
Thanksgiving Day game, and the quarterback would have been that guy that's coaching right now.
You got it.
There he is.
Back in '94 against Green Bay, Jason Garrett's second career start. A fellow by the name of Darryl Johnston scored the go-ahead touchdown. Cowboys would never relinquish the lead. 36 second half points for the Cowboys on that Thanksgiving Day back in '94. Fast forward 16 years, we hit the 2-minute warning in the Big D. Big second half for the Dallas Cowboys in Jason Garrett's second game as interim head coach after the win at the Meadowlands over the Giants last Sunday. Cowboys with 28 points here in the second half. It all started following the safety, which gave the Lions a 12-7 lead with that 97-yard punt return for a touchdown by Brian McCann, who scored on a 101-yard interception return against the Giants last week. Today it was the 15th return touchdown in Cowboys history of at least 97 yards. McCann is the first player to do it more than once.
Back-to-back weeks. And his return today, we thought John Wendling had put himself in a great position to make another great play on special teams and pin the Dallas Cowboys back inside the 5-yard line. He scoops the ball up and goes 97 yards for the touchdown.
Barber to the 45. Now, both teams will play on Thursday. Cowboys will host the Saints. Very tough upcoming schedule for Dallas.
Yeah, you can see right there, and that was one of the things that people talked about when Jason Garrett took over the Cowboys as interim head coach. They were getting into the meat of that schedule. You look at the Giants prior to this game today, and you think about what they had down the stretch. They've yet to play Philadelphia, who I think is one of the more dangerous teams, not only the NFC, but the NFL. We saw that on display last Monday night. They've got to go to Indianapolis after New Orleans. So there's your two Super Bowl teams from last year, back-to-back weeks. You've got the Redskins. That's a rivalry game. You can throw the records out on how the season's going. It's a tough stretch for Jason Garrett, but I have the utmost confidence in him. And, you know, when he stepped into the huddle as our backup quarterback, there wasn't a man in there that didn't know that he had control of that huddle. He commands respect from people with his presence.
We talked to linebacker Brady James, and he said that Michael Irvin told him that Jason Garrett always had the fire. And you have echoed those statements. Jason Garrett, the Ivy League Player of the Year back in '88 at Princeton. He would go on to start 9 games for the Cowboys, including that career day on Thanksgiving in 1994.
But you forget about the fact that as a defensive player, you're not around the offensive staff very much during the course of your day. So for Brady James, he didn't know much about Jason except the fact that he was a Princeton grad and was the offensive coordinator and smiled and had a lot of fun, you know, working with the offense. And he said the thing that jumped out at him the most once he became head coach was that fire in his belly. And we all knew it as his teammates when he played with us with the Dallas Cowboys. He's extremely competitive in everything he does.
Hill completed to Burleson, and Jason would enjoy this note. That 29-yard touchdown run by Kittner matches the longest ever touchdown run by a Cowboys quarterback. Roger Staubach did it against Washington on this date in 1971. 39 years ago today, Staubach with a 29-yard touchdown run matched today by Kittner.
He's played a great game, and it's going to take a while. You know, and I thought it was interesting when we talked to John Kittner. about as you come in as a backup quarterback, is it a tough adjustment? And he said, not for me. You know, I know the game plan. I know what I'm capable of doing. I think it's a tough adjustment for the other 52 guys on the team. There's that initial disappointment of losing your starting quarterback and what's going to happen with the season, and do I have to do more? And he's done a great job filling in for Tony Romo, and I think he's really starting to find his comfort zone now over the last 2 weeks.
Winning as a starter last week for the first time since the 2007 season with the Lions. Great job by our entire crew, our producer Barry Landis, director Michael Frank, associate directors Jeremy Green and Darren Foster, associate producer Chirag Devaskar, technical producer David M. Hill, technical director Chris Castro. And thanks to you, Darryl, for hosting us this weekend in your hometown.
You're welcome. Good to be back in Dallas. I was very, very happy not to have to get on an airplane this weekend.
That was a great dinner also on Friday, Darryl.
My pleasure, Goose.
Awesome. Awesome steak. And happy Thanksgiving to you, your family, Kenny, you, and our whole production crew. Have a great Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there listening.
Absolutely.
You too, Goose. We'll see you next week in Chicago. 20 seconds remaining. Hill to Pettigrew. Out across the 40, and for the Lions, they will lose their 26th consecutive road game. Head home and get ready for the Patriots on Thursday.
And you just got to keep playing. Just keep hanging in there. I know, and I'll say this, there are no moral victories in the NFL, but Jim Schwartz has changed the culture. He has brought in talent, but it's a tough road for him. We talked about how difficult Dallas' schedule is. Detroit's is no easier. You look at how they have to finish right there. And I know that Jim Schwartz is going to feel like he got one taken away. They tried to fight back from that call with the tackle on Marion Barber, but it seems right now that they just can't stop finding ways to lose games, and eventually they will. And once they get one win, there's the potential for these guys to string a couple together.
Penalty marker on the final play. Looks to be against the Lions.
Illegal block in the back, number 12 on the offense. That penalty is declined. The game is over.
So the Cowboys win for the first time this season at home. They send the Lions to their 26th consecutive defeat on the road. Jason Garrett 2-0 as Cowboys head coach. We'll return to Arlington after these messages.